Never mind, a nice day for a white wedding. It was a bad night for a red wedding as it rained Starks in the Rains of Castamere. Welcome back, guys, to Fog Entertainment, here to review the penultimate episode of Game of Thrones, Season 3, Episode 9. Not quite sure this one, titled The Rains of Castamere, is as good as the 9.99 rating on IMDb would suggest. However, I think it certainly was probably the best episode of Season 3, and it gave us, I think, one of the biggest moments so far of the show. A blockbuster moment, a moment that pretty much has killed off an entire clan with the new self-proclaimed King of the North, Robb Stark, going down.
The Starks have lost their bark. We didn't see one death, we didn't see two, we saw three, but technically we saw hundreds, man. A lot of bodies hitting the floor. But yeah, was it the best episode of this season? I think it easily was, just by default, because this season's been a bit lackluster. But in terms of the episode 9s, in terms of the battle of the episode 9s, I think it comes in third, just like the season itself.
Yeah, no, I definitely don't think it was as good as Blackwater, and then obviously Season 1, Episode 9, very good episode that ended, unfortunately, with Ned Stark dying. So, I mean, Episode 9s, though, so far they've been really good. Can't really bash Episode 9. If the Game of Thrones, if every episode was as good as the 9th episode, then, you know, this would be
the best show ever.
Yeah.
But the problem for me is right, I think with Episode 9 last season, the whole episode focused on Blackwater, and I feel like this episode would have done better if we just had an entire focus on this wedding. I mean, you're getting Daenerys, you're getting stuff with the Bran brothers, or whatever.
I mean, there was a decent amount of wedding stuff, but I get what you're saying. I think maybe they could have just dedicated the whole episode to that.
We'll put it this way, right? We're reviewing this episode. There's only one thing we want to talk about.
Yeah, but we'll leave that to the last because we want to just quickly go over everything. So let's talk about Yunkai.
Yunkai!
You're in Yunkai! So, yeah, Mormont is basically saying to Daenerys, you need to send your two best men in there, and they go through the back door alongside Naryas. And the men going with Naryas turn out to be Jorah Mormont and Grey Worm. Now, Sir Barristan asks to go along, and he kind of stops Jorah, because I believe he thinks that he is among the top two, but he's told by Mormont that you are the Queen's guard, and your place is beside the Queen, regardless of your pride. So that was Jorah Mormont basically saying, look, you're going to let me and Grey Worm go, and you're going to sit beside the Queen. Now, does Sir Barristan, does that hurt his pride? Does he believe that he should be on the front lines? I mean, possibly. Is he better than Mormont and Grey Worm? I mean, I don't know, history and I guess legends and all that stuff, and even just fellow people, Ned Stark especially, would believe that Sir Barristan should have been number one.
It's hard to see though, to be honest though, like who is the best, because it's all hearsay. Like this episode is probably the only real episode we've seen Mormont in battle.
Yeah, what have we seen Sir Barristan do in the show? I don't care about, oh, legend says he done this, history says he done that. What have we seen Sir Barristan as an older gentleman in this show actually do?
Yeah, what age is he here? He's like, what, early 60s?
Something like that.
And it's like, something he did 20, 25, 30 years ago, he might not be able to do it now. It's like, you know, if this was a footballing TV show and they whipped out Lionel Messi at 63 and Ned put him over, aye, but it's him at 63. He can't do what he did at 33. And it's the same like for a boxer. It's like Mike Tyson recently in real life. I think if Sir Ballister were into action, his arse might fold.
Yeah, but we get the fight, and in the end, there's more people than Darius imagined there would be, so they're outnumbered pretty heavily. 3 on, let's say, I don't know how many, felt like 3 on dozens and dozens and dozens, but in the end, the 3 win. The 3 sack the city.
The slaves did put down their arms. Oh, exactly like you said, my queen. The slaves wouldn't want to work for them, and you know that helped them obviously. But here, these 3 guys these 3 guys killed a bunch of no-names. That's pretty much what happened. They were never, none of them were ever going to die. Then the dramatic reveal of the other guy walking in. My mom, oh, is he going to reveal he died? And then of course he didn't die. Of course he didn't. Come on, damn it, accept it.
Yeah, he ain't dying. We then get some Samwell Tarly and Gilly or jelly or whatever. I just do not care, man.
Jelly!
She catches a glimpse of the wall and she's amazed by it, but for me, the sooner these two get to the wall, and I don't know, the quicker we don't need to see them again, the better.
He tries to claim here that he knows a secret passageway underneath the wall that he read in books. It's like, hold on here. This fat bastard knows all these secret passages. He knows how to kill White Walkers as well. And look at the amount of people that's been at the wall with a bit of star power, man. They don't have a Scooby snack. But Samuel Tarly's got the answer to everything.
Yeah.
Maybe we should have read more.
Maybe we should have read more. Right, in the gift, we've got Bran Stark and his passengers. They're getting spotted. So we've got the wildlings are closing in. They kill some farmer guy and they want Jon Snow to do it, but Jon Snow doesn't want to do it. And to be honest, like, why should Jon Snow do it? It's just an old man. Doesn't really want to kill him, but this old man breeds horses for the Night's Watch, and they're trying to test Jon Snow's loyalty. Just because Jon Snow won't kill this guy, though, I don't think that shows that he's disloyal. It's just he's got no reason to do it.
Yeah, but I guess it does show he's disloyal because the wildlings are all about this killing everybody sort of thing. Anyone who helps the Night Watch is an enemy to them.
Yeah, well, you know what? Jon Snow, he's Ned's son, isn't he? So he's got honour and he's not going to do this. We then get a fight after Ygritte kills the old man because Jon Snow couldn't. Orell then says that, look, I told you, he's the Snow. He's a member of the Black. He's not one of us. So we get into a big brawl and it's a fight. Ygritte and Jon Snow against all the wildlings because she has chosen him. And it leads pretty much to Jon Snow killing all the wildlings, and he kills Orell. And I think this was coming because, I mean, the dogs did help. You had the Shaggy Dog in summer, I believe. Shaggy Dog.
But see, I'm surprised, like, Jon Snow didn't actually click on here. Like,
Bran must be close.
Bran must be close, but
Rickon must be close.
You've also got the thunder's going, Odor! 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 And then Bran does the hang on Odor, and the guy, the other kid's marking it. Oh, look, brilliant. No one on this side of the wall can do that, brother.
Yeah, so Jon Snow finally kills Orell. I think it was overdue because, I mean, they'd been beefing for a little bit. Then, I mean, it kind of looks like Tormund is going to try and kill Jon Snow, but he doesn't want to kill Ygritte. He's just saying, look, he's betrayed us, Ygritte. You can't choose, you can't give up your life for him. And then Jon Snow just takes off and leaves Ygritte behind. So maybe this shows once and for all that Jon Snow has zero loyalty to the wildlings and that he was simply just biding his time and waiting for the right moment to escape.
I mean, it probably does, but at the same time, I feel like Jon Snow's that honourable, he wouldn't do that. And it's because they pushed him too far and he had to push back.
I mean, who knows? I mean, Jon Snow never killed Ygritte back in Season 2. I guess the wildlings could have returned the favour and not killed him, but maybe he felt like he needed to become one of them in order to, fit in. But that's pretty much the wildlings now, all dead outside of Tormund.
Yeah, so like you spend the entire season these guys getting over the wall just to die at the hands of Jon Snow.
And they believe they're taking over the Seven Kingdoms.
They couldn't take over Hee-Haw.
They ain't taking shit. And then Osha takes Rickon, I believe, to the Last Earth. It's the home of House Umber. I believe that's like a
safe house.
Yeah, it's like a friendly house of House Stark. But I mean, honestly, who really cares?
Judging by this episode, though, I think protecting any Starks is probably a good thing.
Yeah, so Rickon Stark and Bran Stark both are still alive, but can't say the same about Robb. So let's go to the Riverlands. Robb consults his mother. What should he do about attacking Casterly Rock? Robb claims it's a dangerous move, but if he can take Tywin's castle away from him, then Westeros will realise that he is not so invincible after all. But Catelyn points out that that plan requires cooperation of Lord Frey, and that the Starks could only take the castle with Lord Frey's help. And every time Robb Stark consults his mother, it just goes horribly wrong.
Yeah, she's just... you're right, though. It always does go wrong, and I feel like the Starks, man, they're idiotic. As honourable as they are, even though I don't think, she is honestly that honourable as me. It's all about Robb, it's all about Ned. they're idiotic and they're very naive and they always get played. Did they really think, man, with Walder Frey after what they did, not agreeing to marry his daughter, and then just stroll back in here and basically get this guy on side because he's marrying Edmure? I mean, come on, it was very naive.
It was naive, but what I can say is I really did enjoy all the stuff here at Frey's castle. So Robb Stark gets there at House Frey for his uncle Edmure's wedding. Walder Frey insults him and his wife. Robb has to make a public apology to Lord Frey's daughters. Lord Frey whips all his daughters out and then he has to name them. And there's like, about 20 here and he's forgetting the names, but all the names sound really similar.
Yeah.
It's like, it's like literally just like one letter changing for each name.
I know what's beneath a woman's cloak, dear.
Yeah, so one of his daughters has to correct her father. That's not her name, but he doesn't really care about their names. He doesn't really care about them. He then asks Talisa to come forward, and he wants to have a closer look at her. She's a little bit reluctant, but Robb Stark gives her the nod, and then he basically he dresses her down with his eyes and says that I can't blame you for betraying an oath. I would have betrayed 200 oaths when I was your age for a piece of that. And, not a nice way to speak to a soon-to-be king. But Lord Frey didn't really care.
Lord Frey did not really care. And, she held him back here. Robb Stark was about to speak up and then he didn't. I mean, I get it, right? He needs this deal to go through. But he's letting his wife get buried. Are you trying to tell me Ned Stark would have sat there and let his wife get buried?
No.
He wouldn't have.
No, it's not.
Is it the immaturity of Robb, the fact that he's like 18 and he's still like so controlled by his mother? Potentially it is, but on the bright side for Edmure, he gets somebody that doesn't look that bad.
Yeah, so we whip out Frey's daughter that's going to marry Edmure, and she comes out with this like cloak over her head, like a veil or something like that over her face, and you can't see her. And Edmure's panicking. He believes that he's well and truly fucked, but she removes it, and it turns out that she is way more attractive, probably, than anybody would have imagined, and she doesn't look like the rest of Frey's daughters. And I mean, Edmure at this point is delighted, and he's went from being miserable and sulking to like one of the happiest, probably the happiest man in the castle at this point.
Absolutely, but I think this was probably one of the first clues that this wedding wasn't always going to be what it was meant to be. I think this quite clearly isn't a Frey child, because they all are literal mutants. It was almost like it was too good to be true here. Would you agree, or do you think there's a possibility that she is a Frey child?
No, I think she's just some random person that Lord Walder Frey's got in here to
sweeten the deal,
aye,
to make it a false sense of security and all that good stuff. But obviously Edmure's loving this at this point. But Brandon, Tully, however you pronounce it, he's getting stirred up by all the ugly ones and he ain't appreciating it.
Yeah, so he leaves to find a tree to piss on. It's then time for the wedding ceremony. They get carried off. It's time for Edmure to bed the wife. Catelyn has become suspicious when she notices the Black Walder Rivers close the banquet hall doors, and I mean that is a bit suspicious. Why would they close them in like that?
I noticed this, right, and she looked up at the music players. Now obviously the title of this episode is a tune that the House Lannister played years ago. Obviously she knows that. We don't really know that. But I thought she looked at them like, something's definitely good on here. So I did catch on to this. But surely if she catches on to this and that's a House Lannister tune,
what's Robb doing?
She should be alerting straight away to Robb, like, here, this isn't all what it seems. Also, the fact that Edmure and her uncle, Bryden, both left, were they in on it as well? How many people are in on it? I doubt the Tullys would be in on it.
Now, Roose Bolton refused. He wasn't drinking, so I'm thinking maybe there was something in the drink.
Like not like a senses.
Yeah, maybe not like a
what happened to Robert.
Yeah, like maybe not a poison, but something just to
weaken them,
relax them, or I don't know. I thought maybe the wine could have been tampered with, but yeah, we got Roose Bolton there. And Catelyn notices that Latter is wearing mail under his clothing. She realises it's a trap. She slaps Roose across the face and screams a warning to Robb, but not a lot Robb can do at this point. He's pretty much on his own with a few of his men, but it doesn't matter because then Lord Walder Frey gives a signal and his men come in and basically just kill all Robb Stark's men then and there.
Absolutely brutal. I mean, blood going everywhere. You've got Robb's wife getting stabbed in the stomach, Talisa. So I think this points back to the point that Walder Frey's like, oh, I know everything to do with a woman's body. So he must have knew she was pregnant here.
I know everything that's under that robe.
They purposely aim for the stomach, and also, I thought the writing was on the wall. They were talking about a little Ned Stark running around, and when Ned Stark gets mentioned, something's going to bad happen.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe if they called him something else, the scene would have went down differently, but it wasn't. Robb then gets shot by the crossbows a couple of times. He falls to the floor. All the other Stark men are killed. Catelyn gets shot as well by a crossbow.
Falls to the floor, damn it.
Takes an arrow to the chest, or not the chest, the shoulder. Arya Stark and the Hound, they arrive, but by this point, I mean, it's pretty much too late. You can see that there's something already going on here. Arya just notices all the Stark men getting killed, and looks like she's too late to do anything. She gets separated from the Hound, and we also see Robb's dire wolf get put down as well, Grey Wind. So, I mean, there's not many of these wolves left.
No, this is pretty sad. I like seeing animals get killed like this, man. But, I mean, they're obviously going to do it. Another Robb Stark animal, I mean, key part to him, whatever. But
yeah, Arya's trying to get into the castle, but she's not going to make it because the Hound just knocks her out. He says, "It's too late, girl," and he just knocks her unconscious and then carries her out.
Do you not feel like, I mean, I guess the Hound's got no real loyalty to the Starks at this stage, right? He is kind of his own man.
Hold on, when did he ever have loyalty to them? Like, I mean,
oh no, he never did. But my point is,
he was
like,
simply trying to get there because he thought that by trading her, he would, get a reward.
But I think the Hound is more than capable of going in here and fucking battering everybody. But obviously, he's not going to do that.
I mean, you say that, like, but I mean, he's not like he's not invincible to arrows and stuff, is he?
He's not, but we've seen Robb take about 6, and he was still standing.
Aye, well, I'm sure he would have took more if it was required. So we do see Robb then crawl towards his wife, but at this point, his wife's dead. Talisa's gone. Catelyn then grabs she grabs Walder Frey's young wife, and when I say young, I mean she's very young. Catelyn says she'll cut her throat if Walder doesn't negotiate an end to the attack. Walder refuses. He says, why should I listen to anything you've got to offer me when you've already betrayed the oath that Robb would marry my daughter? So she begs that Walder takes her hostage instead and lets Robb go. But Walder's like, well, why the hell would I do that? It's like, he can totally, like, why would he do that?
Yeah, well, why would he? I mean, it is total desperation here from Catelyn Stark. I get it, she's trying to protect her son, right? But the writing was on the wall at this point. Why would... See the fact they were willing to betray them in the first place? There was always a likelihood that someone was from the Frey side was going to get killed in the process. Obviously, the gold, outweighs this. It was a desperate moment here for Catelyn, but you knew it was all over, didn't you? It was done. Robb Stark, basically.
Yeah, Robb Stark gets up, and Frey says he doesn't care. He'll find another wife, and he literally does have about 20 lined up out there, and he'll just replace one of the ones that he was going to give to Robb Stark. He'll just take for himself. So that's kind of how it works with Frey. Robb Stark gets up, calls for his mother, and then Roose Bolton comes in and just slits his throat or stabs him in the heart after whispering, "The Lannisters send their regards." So there you go, Robb's dead. Another big win for the Lannisters. Catelyn then, obviously distraught at seeing her son die, she kills Walder Frey's wife, fulfilling her promise, but doesn't really mean anything because she just gets her throat slit from behind by Black Walder as she falls to the floor, and that's it. So, yeah, she may have killed Walder Frey's wife, but Walder Frey just doesn't give a shit. He doesn't. Like he obviously said, easily replaced.
What I liked about this is it's not like she kills his wife and then she dies straight away. She's able to sit there for 5 seconds as the guy just walks over and slits her throat. But this pissed me off at the time, this episode. The Starks are the protagonists, right? The people we've seen first of all, apart from the guys that ran into the White Walkers in episode 1, And it's like, they're getting treated for like fucking idiots. Could you imagine the Lannisters getting took out like this? Could you imagine Tywin and Jaime and Cersei getting wiped out like that? It just wouldn't happen. Now, you could say that's because they don't have much honour and they're very open to the idea that people can betray them, but I thought this was a fantastic scene, don't get me wrong. I think it's easily one of the best scenes in the show. But I feel like it's almost like, oh, Daenerys is getting close to building this wee army here, so Robb, tatty bye, goodbye, you need to go.
Yeah, there can't be two armies facing
That's
the
what I
Lannisters.
feel like. And I think it's a very weak way for the Starks to go out.
Yeah, for me, the real battle is between the Starks and the Lannisters. I don't really care about Daenerys crossing the sea, honestly, and then trying to claim back the throne for the Targaryens.
Just the episode begins, oh, we're going to attack Castamere Rock, and I'm like, yes, right? The Lannisters are going to suffer a defeat. They won Blackwater by the skin of their teeth, but they're going to suffer this big defeat. Tywin's going to be pissed. There's going to be another war. And this episode, it just kind of diffused it. Yo, two massive deaths, and Robb's wife died. But I can't, as great as I think the scene was, right, it was very well done, I can't help but feel it's a very anticlimactic ending to the war. I know the war's not over, but I think the Starks are done, man. And it almost feels like Ned died for fucking nothing. No vengeance was made. Oh, the right hand of Jaime Lannister. And it wasn't even them that cut it. It was a fucking Bolton that did it. I don't really know, man. I'm very torn on this episode. I can see why people would give it a 10, and I can see why people don't like it. I'm somewhere in the middle. I'll give it an 8 out of 10, because I think it's not the best ending for this war.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give it a 9. I thought it was really good. I don't think it was as good as Blackwater though. And had it focused more on just the actual wedding itself, then I mean, probably could have been a lot better. But you had the Rickon stuff with Bran and the Yunkai sacking, which I didn't really care for. Don't really know what's happening with Edmure Tully and the other Tully. I mean, are they going to... I think they're too big of characters to be killed off screen. But for me, I don't think we're going to see the aftermath of... I don't think there's going to be a continuation of this assault. I think the next time we get anything with the Tullys / Starks or the Freys, it's going to be a bit of a time skip and we're going to move on. So I'm not kind of sure what's going to happen with Ed. I mean, Edmure could already be dead at this point, I guess. We don't know what's happened to him.
He could be.
And the guy that took a piss.
It was off screen, though.
I think they're too big of characters, though, to kill off screen.
They are. No, they are too big.
I'd be shocked if we get into the finale and those two are dead.
You know, I totally agree, but at the same time, it's very convenient. I mean, Edmure, he had to do the bedding ceremony, so that's not too bad.
But if they're not dead, it's almost like...
Where were they?
They were in on it, you know.
Yeah.
But they're Tullys, so... And the Tullys is supposed to be just as honourable as Ned, so I can't imagine that they would have betrayed them.
No, but I can't imagine episode 10 or...
Captured, maybe?
Season 4, and this Tully guy's like, oh, fuck, I can't believe I went for a piss and I came back and they were all dead. I can't imagine
I mean, maybe they could be captured and held prisoner, but... Held prisoner why? I mean, who's Frey going to negotiate with? If Frey wanted a prisoner, he'd have kept Robb Stark. Frey wanted revenge.
Yeah, so Frey,
I just don't see...
How do you think this came around then? Didn't the Lannisters went to Bolton and he's went to Frey, or Frey went to Bolton and then Bolton's went to the Lannisters with the Jaime Lannister leverage? How's this came about?
I'm not sure, but I'm hoping that episode 10, the finale, will...
I'm hoping it explains a lot, but... You know what, I just can't help but feel the Lannisters are too overbooked in this show. And I know a big thing's coming on their side, but it's like, what have they really lost in this? Nothing. Like, I mean, the Starks have been decimated. You just know the next episode, man, Sansa's going to get that piss ripped out of her by Joffrey. Oh, look, your mother's dead, your brother's dead. You know, and
your father's dead.
Your father's dead, and it's like...
You're married to a dwarf.
I think it's very ballsy to kill these two in the same scene. But at the same time, it's like, can the other side not have any form of casualty? Oh, the two jobber Lannister nephews that no one cares about, and he killed Big Rickard Carstock. See him? Could that faction in that house have been the difference here?
Well, if he had the Carstacks, I don't think he'd have been back to the Freys. That's the kind of that's the point. The fact that he lost half his army meant he kind of.
And
had
that's
to go
another
back.
thing, though. It's the naivety there. At the end of the day, Robb Stark.
He'd have been better.
He was better early on in the war.
He'd have been better taking Jaime's offer, that duel 1-on-1.
I would have been.
Probably would have lost, like, but you know.
You take him on now every once.
Anyway, guys, that's it.
No.
8.5 out of 10. I'm giving it a 9, you're giving it an 8. 8.5 out of 10. And that sets up the finale. And I think the two finales so far have been a little disappointing, so I'm hoping that Season 3 can be a lot better, and hopefully we follow on and we learn more about how this came and who betrayed who and if the Tullys are still alive. And yeah, that's it. Catch you in the next one. Till then, peace.